He thought the German Shepherd was asserting dominance over his toddler. He wasn't. He was standing between her and a kitchen floor that had been poisoning the family for 11 days without a single alarm going off. Axel had lived with the Ferreira family since he was 8 weeks old. He was now 5, fully grown, 78 pounds of attentive German Shepherd, with the kind of responsiveness that made people ask if he was trained professionally. He wasn't. He just paid attention in a way that felt deliberate. Carlos Ferreira, to work nights as an operations supervisor at a regional distribution center. Toe had always described Axel as the most switched-on animal he'd ever been around. He said that differently after the 11th day. Lila was 20 months old and in the phase of toddlerhood where ambulation is the primary activity. She walked to things. She walked away from things. She walked to Axel and walked away from Axel and then walked back to Axel. This was her main work, and she pursued it with focus. On the Tuesday afternoon, Lila walked toward the kitchen. Axel, who had been lying near the couch, was on his feet before she reached the doorway. He stepped into the kitchen entrance and turned sideways, blocking the path with his body. Lila walked into his side and bounced off. She looked at him. She walked around him. He moved with her, staying sideways, maintaining the block. She tried 3 more angles. He matched each one without sound, without aggression, without any behavior that looked like anything Carlos had ever seen him do before. Lila sat down and cried in frustration. Carlos watched from the living room and felt the first irritation. He called Axel away, firmly. Axel came. Carlos let Lila into the kitchen. He stood there watching to see if Axel would approach her. He didn't. He sat in the doorway and watched her, and watched the floor beneath her feet, and watched Carlos, and then went back to watching the floor. The next morning, the same thing. Lila walked toward the kitchen. Axel was at the doorway before her. Sideways, same block. Same silent, focused refusal. His wife Elena saw it and said maybe there was something on the floor near the stove. She couldn't see. A small piece of broken glass, maybe. Or something the baby could ingest. They checked the kitchen floor on hands and knees. They found nothing. By the 4th day, Axel had extended the block. He was now sitting at the kitchen entrance at all times when Lila was awake, not patrolling, stationed. He ate when they brought his bowl to him. He drank when they brought the bowl. He would not leave the kitchen doorway. When Elena cooked, he sat behind her, watching the floor. When Carlos made coffee in the morning, Axel was at the entrance watching him. Always the floor. Always that specific area between the refrigerator and the stove. Carlos's mother came to visit that weekend. She said the dog was showing dominance behavior and needed corrective training immediately. Carlos's mother had watched 3 dog training television programs and spoke about animal behavior with the confidence of a field teacher. He didn't argue with her, but he didn't call a trainer either. Something about Axel's posture, not dominant, not elevated, focused downward, consistently downward, didn't fit the explanation. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. On the 9th day, Carlos noticed he had a headache when he woke up. He mentioned it to Elena. She'd had one for 2 days, but thought it was stress. They were both tired from the disrupted routine of managing Axel at the kitchen entrance. Leela had been fussier than usual for a week. They attributed it to a tooth coming in. On the 11th day, Elena's sister visited for lunch. She walked into the kitchen, stopped, and said, "Do you have a gas issue in here? There's something." Elena said she didn't smell anything. Her sister said she wasn't sure. It was faint, something chemical. She might be imagining it. But she opened the window above the sink. Carlos got down on the floor near the refrigerator that evening, his face at floor level, near the gap between the refrigerator base and the wall. He couldn't smell it standing up. At floor level, something reached him. Not sharp, not obvious. Wrong. He called the gas company at 8 a.m. the next morning. The technician found a microfracture in the connection between the gas line and the refrigerator's ice maker unit that had been installed 18 months earlier. The fracture was releasing a slow, continuous seep of natural gas at floor level. The concentration at standing height was below any detection threshold. At floor level, the level where Lila spent a significant portion of her time, at the level where a small body breathed while sitting on linoleum. The concentration was at a range that, with extended exposure, produces the headaches, fatigue, irritability that had been slowly appearing in the household over 11 days. The technician capped the line, isolated the unit, and opened the house. He told them they needed to let it air out for several hours. He told them to replace their natural gas detectors with models that included floor-level sensors. He told them that what they described, headaches without apparent cause, child fussier than usual, no apparent source, was a classic presentation for low-level chronic gas exposure. He looked at the dog sitting in the kitchen doorway. He said, "Smart dog, has your dog ever done something that made no sense until it was the only thing that made sense? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard." The gas company representative who completed the safety inspection, a woman named Miriam Tellis, told Carlos that the specific concentration at floor level in a space a toddler occupied daily over an extended period would have produced a compounding effect on an infant's developing system. She said, "The thing that concerns me most in these cases is how long it goes undetected." She paused. "How long did the dog start this behavior before you called us?" 11 days, Carlos said. She nodded slowly. She didn't say anything else about it. Every guardian deserved to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. They had the new floor-level gas sensors installed the following week. Carlos put one near the refrigerator specifically. Axel watched the installation with attention. When the technician finished and left, Axel walked into the kitchen, circled the area near the refrigerator once, sat in the middle of the kitchen floor, and exhaled. The next story involves a Bernese mountain dog who sat beside a baby's crib for 4 nights, and what the parents found when they finally checked what he was looking at. Then he walked back to his spot near the couch and lay down like he'd been waiting 11 days to do exactly that.